This is a tournament battle in the Wars of the Ancients tournament between Barry London and DesertFox. Barry London commands Macedon and DesertFox commands Parthia, and this is a Macedon versus Parthia mirror matchup. So the players will switch on playing as either Macedon or Parthia. Now Barry London has an infantry corps consisting of Hoplites and Tereia spears, front line of Royal Peltasts and Thorax swords, Peltasts, some citizen cavalry, Thessalians, militia Hoplites on the flanks, same on the other flank. Parthia has 3 Eastern slingers, 1 Parthian foot archer, 2 Parthian swords, 4 Persian Hoplites, 4 Eastern cataphracts, 1 Royal cataphract, 2 mercenary Sarmatian archers. So, just by judging by the builds here, Macedon has a decisive infantry advantage, and although Parthia has the skirmishing advantage, then Macedon isn't completely without skirmishing itself, because it has these I believe 2 Tereios or more. Does he have 3 Tereios? Yep, 3 Tereios and 2 Royal Peltasts, so that's 5 javelin units just there, and then he has 2 of these Peltas, so he actually has 7 javelin units, and that can be very useful, especially against the cataphracts in the late game. So the horse archers get a bit too close. As a reward they get some javelins, and I'll just fast forward here, because as you can see by the time, this battle is going to take a while. Both players moving tentatively towards each other, some volleys coming in, but no really good targets on Macedon's side for Parthia to shoot at, because there are good shields all around. So going skirmish heavy was maybe a bit of a strange choice for Parthia. Usually it's a good idea, but we'll see how it plays out. But the infantry of Parthia is just going to die to the infantry of Macedon in a prolonged engagement. So the center here is 4 of these Persian Hoplites, and they do have phalanx now instead of the standard, or instead of the square formation. So they can use that, but it's not really going to make them last for any amount of time against good troops in melee. So here the lines are moving towards each other here. Hillmen on the flanks, they need to be careful, because they'll get killed by just about everything. Here we have a standoff. The lines are forming. Some jeering by the men on each side, working up the courage to finally charge. A hail of missiles coming in from Parthia. Parthia is withdrawing a bit, reorganizing the lines, and it looks like they're going to get caught here. And BAM! Thorax swords straight in the face. The cataphracts are getting some nice charges over here on the militia Hoplites and the Tereios, and a lot of dead Tereios on the ground. They're also getting attacked by the hillmen, so nice move going in first with the cataphracts and then the hillmen. Here the Parthian swords are up against Royal Peltas, and that's a bad engagement for them. Phalanxes going down all over the battlefield, which is going to make them last a bit longer, but up against good swords like this, they're not really going to be able to do much. There are openings in the Parthian line for Macedon to exploit, and vice versa. So here we have a cataphract unit that is going to go for the opening, it looks like. And now there are several units open for rear charging here. Macedon sees it and is moving in some cavalry to try and stop the cataphracts, possibly. Javelins are coming in on the cataphracts, doing a lot of damage. The cataphracts are going to turn around and smash into the rear of these engaged thorax swords, and that's going to damage them quite significantly. The cataphracts are going to use their substantial mass to just push the thorax swords out of the way and get away before these Hoplites are able to rush in and pin them. And we might have the same situation here with the Thessalians. They could be able to run through here and get at the skirmishers of Parthia. So the battle is pretty even now. Macedon is going to be able to grind out the infantry fight. Macedon has more infantry, so Parthia needs to be really careful when their infantry wavers, because then it's going to be difficult for Parthia to do the rear charging they need to destroy these lines. So this multi-layered approach, very nice, can work very well against a faction like Parthia that has a lot of cavalry, because now he's in effect protecting his own back lines and being able to use these Therea spears to do a lot of damage to horse archers and such. A lot of dead and dying horse archers in the woods here. And here the horse archers are charging in against Thereas or Peltasts. I think those are Peltasts actually, royal Peltasts. And that's going to be a bad time for the horse archers, so a bit of a waste of horse archers there. Probably should have kept their distance and used heavy shot when the opportunity presented itself. And just that one thing might cost Parthia the game if the horse archers don't do well enough against the high value targets. So going into these are Peltasts, I believe, 2 units of Peltasts that are firing. Yep, Peltasts. Throwing their javelins into the mass of cataphracts, and that's going to take down a lot of cataphracts. Look at this. Javelin through the head, and he is down. So let's just pull up the interface here to see how it looks. We have a lot of skirmishers left for Parthia, we have a lot of cavalry left for Parthia, but Macedon's infantry is holding strong in the center. So seeing it from Macedon's side now, the Parthians are retreating, they are running back to regroup. Parthian units all over the battlefield are retreating, and Macedon won. A lot of dead Parthians on the ground here, not as many dead Macedonians. Here is the cataphract graveyard. Many dead cataphracts on the ground. Now it looks like the cataphracts are going to climb this very steep hill, make it to the top and possibly stand there and rest for a while. So these infantry units probably don't want to climb the hill to get at the cataphracts, because that's going to set them up for some nasty downhill charges. More rear charging action by the horse archers. Don't really understand what's going on. He did put fire arrows on, so maybe he was going for fire arrow plus rear charge, but they are winning this combat against these units, so it's not going to break them. If they were losing, then maybe. The units of Persian hoplites, this is all the infantry that's left on Parthia's side. We have the Macedonians standing over there, the Parthians doing the standard kiting back, but Macedon doesn't follow, which is smart by Macedon, because now Parthia has to move up and engage Macedon here. And Macedon is just going to stand and rest their forces and spread out, so they'll take less damage from missiles. And again, using the multi-layered approach, so it isn't going to be as easy to break through the lines without at least one unit being able to countercharge. So here we can see the Parthian units way off in the distance, like tiny black ants. Reorganizing the Macedonian lines to match the movement of the Parthians. So a lot of skirmishers left for Parthia, a lot of cavalry, but only one unit of depleted hoplites. For Macedon we have hoplites left, we have Thereos, we have 2 royal Peltas units, we have some more hoplites, more Thereos, thorax swords, some thorax swords under fire by mercenary Sarmatian horse. And again, shooting at the front of thorax swords like this is not the best use of your missiles. But now it might be a good idea to pour some heavy shot into the backs of these guys. It's going to be difficult for Parthia to inflict enough casualties when skirmishing with these thin lines of guys. They are going to try. Let's try to follow over here, follow the arrows. So a lot of the arrows are going to miss, and a lot of the arrows are going to be blocked by missiles, by the shields. So the hoplites have a pretty comfortable position here. The only thing I would be worried about if I was Macedon was if I was going to get charged by those cataphracts, because they can really tear through infantry when they are in spaghetti lines like this. So the arrows are falling, but not really doing a lot of damage. Parthia is at a slight disadvantage now, but Macedon isn't in the best position either, because Macedon has no cavalry. Macedon has its infantry, but it has no cavalry, it has no long-range skirmishing, so the best Macedon can do here is to stand and wait until Parthia runs out of missiles. So we still have 15 minutes left of the battle. I'll just fast forward for the rest of it, because yeah, because it's one long battle, 24 minutes or 25 minutes. So it's just going to be more skirmishing, and ideally Parthia wants to use up all its ammunition before charging in with the cataphracts, and Parthia can still use their skirmishers to hold the unit from the front and then to rear charge. Still has these hoplites they can also use for the same purpose, and enough chargers against all of these infantry units, and the cataphracts might just be able to break this army. So horse archers charging in here, that's very wasteful, but maybe he did that so these guys couldn't countercharge his cataphracts and shoot at them. But now he's doing friendly fire to his cataphracts, which possibly wasn't the best of ideas. We'll see. So friendly fire is both going to kill your own men, and it's also going to give them a morale penalty from being fired upon. So it might be very bad to shoot at your own men if there are important units in the mix. Cycle charging from cataphracts is going to kill a lot of Macedonians, even though they are spear units. But the cataphracts are also going to lose men when they are disengaging, because they aren't able to flatten the entire unit when they are in when there are so few men left. So although they're able to do quite a bit of damage, they are going to get countercharged, and as you can see, countercharging from Royal Peltas, that's going to hurt the cataphracts in a big way, especially when they are depleted like this. So we have some, the Parthians are climbing up and down the hill. He's now charging in with his skirmishers, but there are no supporting rear charges from the cataphracts, and that is a pretty huge problem, because the skirmishers are going to lose this engagement. They still have ammunition left, so I don't really understand why he would charge at this point. But now it's just a mess of units trying to chase each other around on the battlefield. The spears are trying to get at the cataphracts are trying to charge the spears, but I think the spears are going to get the better of this engagement, because they're going to be able to bunch up like this after the charge happens, and that's going to really hurt the cataphracts. So you can see there is a lot less Macedon left on the field than there was a while ago. There's also a lot less cataphract on the field, and these skirmishers aren't going to be able to decide the battle. These cataphracts will be the deciding factor. If they are able to survive and get the charges in, then these thin lines of Macedonian units are done for, but just one failed charge from the cataphracts and this battle is going to be over. So I'll put it back on normal speed here and see what happens. So since Macedon is keeping their forces close together, they should be able to, after one unit is charged, they should be able to charge in with at least one more unit. Macedon is kind of creating a defensive wedge here. So let's follow the cataphracts and see if they charge in. So both of the units attacking the same, and that is going to allow Macedon to countercharge. Macedon is countercharging and getting destroyed here, but that's going to allow these units to charge in, and this charge is probably going to be the end of the cataphracts. The cataphracts are not able to withdraw in time. They're going to get swamped by infantry, and the cataphracts are dropping extremely quickly. If all the cataphracts die, that's both the general and the last units that can defeat the Macedonian infantry. And let's see here, the cataphracts did not make it. So now we only have these slinger units left, and I'll just fast forward. No cavalry left on Parthia's side. GG, well played. That's the end of it. So once again, Macedon defeats Parthia. Less decisive than this could have easily gone both ways. It was very close for a long time, and Parthia could still have pulled it out. But of course it's much easier to sit here and comment the battle and say what the player should have done differently. It's something entirely different to be in the battle and have to make the decisions, micro everything. So nice kills overall on the Royal Cataphracts. The infantry was a bit of a failure. The skirmishers did okay. The Scythian horse archers did okay, but nothing spectacular. But what I would like to see from Parthia in this type of matchup against Macedon is Parthia just going full-on infantry backed up by very cost-effective Eastern Cataphracts. So maybe even a noble archer, horse archer general, and then just 6 Eastern Cataphracts, the rest swords, and just try to rush the hell out of Macedon, destroy the swords with Cataphracts, and then just destroy the spears with the Parthian swords. So that would be fun to see. But anyway, thanks for watching. And if you are playing tournament battles in my tournament, the Wars of the Ancients, or other tournaments, please send the replays so I can upload the battles if you play the battle that you're happy about or something interesting happened, because I really like watching them and I really like commenting on them, and I think people would like to see more tournament battles. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the battlefield.